Good. And
we're live.
We're live. Perfect. All right. Then we'll just get it started. Hi, and welcome to the Lion's Cage. Step into the cage. We're 11 minutes late. That's unfortunate. Excuse us for that. We just learned that you can't host two Zoom meetings next to each other. So yeah, a little bit of a bumpy start, but you know what? That keeps it exciting. And but yeah, not even exciting as enough as to what's coming the next 1.5 hours, because we're going to listen to pitching, we're going to listen to some extensive feedback, and we're going to listen to some dodgy questions and some big asks. Because during Lion's Cage, 4 startups will pitch for an investment, either feedback, could be anything. We have to see. So to all our YouTube attendees, thank you for joining us. It's really great to have you with us. I'm not sure with how many we are live with, how many of you are attending, but welcome, good to see you. So this is how the Lion's Cage works, huh? The Lion's Cage starts with student startups doing a 5-minute pitch. 5 minutes. We'll be very strict on that. I'm looking all our founders into the eye. 5 minutes, no more. We all have to be strict. Afterwards, we'll do a Q&A of 10 minutes by our jury, by our lions. They'll be asking all the questions, all the most important ones they have in their minds. After those 10 minutes, we'll do 1 question from the YouTube live audience. So to the people on YouTube, be sure to put in your best question in the live chat, because we'll only ask 1. Then we'll go to the final verdict. Yes or no, the lions will tell. Introducing our lions. We have 5. We're very happy to have you here. Thank you so much. Very nice to see that we have so much experience in our panel of lions. So before we go into the pitching, I would like to for everyone to introduce themselves. So let's start with Jorinde. Jorinde, welcome on the show. Welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about you, with yourself, and what you do and what you're looking for tonight?
Yes, thank you. So I'm Jorinde Hoek. I work at Arches Capital, an angel syndicate, and I'm an investment analyst. So that means I'm mostly responsible for scouting investment opportunities. And recently, I also became responsible for developing the Dutch fundraise landscape, a website where startups looking for funding and investors can meet each other more easily. And what I'm looking for in a startup is not just that they have a good idea or a good product, but also that they are the people that can make this idea a good success.
Good to know. How about you, Arjan? Arjan from Forward One. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, hi, Arjan Gobel from Forward One. My background is Delft. I actually started at Yes Delft 12 years ago with our own startup called Ampleman. And now I'm partner at Forward One, which is a venture capital fund. We focus on hardware propositions. And we're always looking for very enthusiastic entrepreneurs with great ideas. So.
Good. Well, I'm sure that you'll meet some tonight. Federico, how about you?
Yeah, hi Piers, thanks. I'm Federico, president of ASA Ventures, or pre-seed VC fund focused on students and recent graduates. So perfect event to scout some startups. What I'm looking for, also what I mentioned before in the talk, is really like passion and motivation for the problem they're solving, and qualified and complementary skills within the founding team.
Passion and motivation. Do you hear that, startup founders? You have to show it. Jeroen, could you also introduce yourself, please?
Sure. I used to have a startup myself. It was sold about 10 years ago, and since then I've been angel investing in many companies. A little bit too many, I guess. And
how many?
I think it's about 300 to 400 right now. So it's hard to keep up, but that's part of my model. I think venture capital is a hits business. You need to find the hits and the big ones, and to get those, you need to make a lot of investments. And it's working on really well. I've got some nice investments in Notion, for example, Carta, those kinds of companies. And what I look for is a passionate team, good team that can execute extremely well. preferably in a company that's very scalable with high margins. So a lot of asks, but that's basically your recipe for a winner. So yeah.
Good, thank you. Good to know. Dennis Huizing from Leap Funder. Please tell us about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Dennis Huizing. I work for Leap Funder, and Leap Funder is the largest angel network of Europe, I believe. We have about 1,000 active investors. What I'm looking for are startups with, as it's been mentioned, a young and innovative team. But I'm also very interested in their plans for the upcoming 6 to 8 months, how they think that the consumer market is going to change and how they're going to act on that.
Okay, so they have to show how to maneuver through this market change we're going through.
Yeah, exactly.
Good to know. Well, thank you for introducing yourselves. From now on, it's time to get into it. So the first team to actually step into the cage is Moja. Tom, are you there? Are you ready?
I am.
Good, Tom. Now you have permission to take over the screen. And once you start, we'll start keeping the time. So relax, tell us the story. What's Moja about?
I will, thanks. This one.
Share.
If you guys are ready? Cool. I'd like to start off with asking you a bit of a personal question. Are you wearing underwear? Now, that might be a bit of a weird question to ask right now, but you'll understand exactly why in just a couple of minutes. My name is Tom. I'm one of the founders of Moja, and I truly, truly believe that we should use consumer power to catalyze positive change. 5 years ago, I visited Tanzania for the very first time. And after playing a game of football with local students there, we noticed that many of these boys didn't have any underwear. We were sparked with curiosity and decided to do some more research about this. We found that not wearing underwear significantly increases the risks of infections, sexual dysfunctions, and social isolation as well. In our most recent trip to Tanzania, we learned that around 40% of boys at a primary school did not have any underwear. During this trip, though, we also noticed that girls have a bit of a challenge. During menstruation, many of these schoolgirls don't have any access to sanitary items, such as sanitary pads. And when they're menstruating, that means they don't go to school. For many girls in this area, due to menstruation and not having access to sanitary pads, they can miss up to a quarter of their education. The three of us really felt that this is something that we should be able to tackle. And that's why we started Moja. Moja is an underwear company. And for every pair of underwear that we sell here in the Netherlands, we also donate one and make one in Tanzania. First of all, the underwear that we make or that we sell here in the Netherlands is made at our partner factory in Portugal. We sell 3 styles, 2 for women, as you can see on the picture, and 1 for men. All our products have an Oikotex certification, which means that no harmful substances nor chemicals are used in the production process. By selling this underwear in the Netherlands and also in the future in Europe, we can fund the production and donation of underwear in Tanzania. So somebody buys a pair here, that money goes to making a pair in Tanzania and also one being distributed along with a hygiene workshop. It's truly amazing, in my opinion, how on this picture on the left, you can see Mama Ismail, who now has an extra stream of income. And because of this extra stream of income, was also able to, for example, open her very first bank account. A bit about us. We're a very young team of 3, our founding team of 3, but our entire team consists of 11 people. Like I said, we might be young, but the 3 of us together have over 20 years in experience in either starting a business or working at a startup. Elissa handles everything that's impact and strategy related. Spike focuses on product and operations, and I handle everything that's sales and finance oriented. Now, we have a pretty ambitious goal of making and donating 1 million products by 2025. It's ambitious, but given industry trends and our motivation, that's something that we should be able to do. We'll start launching our very first products in August, and this will serve as a validation for both pricing as well as product. And after this successful validation, we're looking to raise 150,000 euros in the form of a convertible loan to further increase our marketing activities as well as increase production quantities at our factory in Portugal. With this investment, we truly believe that that goal of 1 million products made and donated by 2025 is attainable. We won't be making a profit in 2020, 21, and 22, but from 23 onwards, we're looking at profits of over 500,000 euros per year. I really look forward to answering your questions. And otherwise, please, tomorrow morning, when you step into your underwear again, I hope you think about Moja and how about not everybody is actually able to afford them. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Tom. Thank you so much, Tom from Moja. So that was our first pitch of the evening. Now we'll get into the Q&A. The timer is running. We have 10 minutes. So I just want to straight up ask all the jury members to shine their light. So Federico, how about you go first? Do you have a question for Tom?
Yeah, well, I have a few, but just quick off the bat. Great presentation. Thanks for the pitch. I like the mission-driven statement as well. How do you differentiate compared to other types of also just ethical fashion that's out there? And also one other question unrelated to what I just asked, but how do you plan on doing the distribution and selling your items basically?
Yeah. So first question, we're the only company in the world that has the 1-for-1 model and does not only donate products, but also creates economic impact. And that's super important for us. Yes, there are other ethical fashion brands, but that's a great indication of how the market is growing towards that. And we want to work with them, but also compete with them towards more ecological fashion. Regarding distribution, in the first 5 years, we'll only be selling through our online website. We really believe that we're a digitally native vertical brand, and we want to keep all our sales channels to ourselves because we want to be able to keep our margins as well as be the boss of our own stock and not be subject to sudden price discounts, for example.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, that was the first question. So Dennis, how about you?
Yeah, so I'll hook into, so thank you first of all for the presentation. I'll hook into your funding plan. You mentioned that you were looking for 150,000 euros around October. What does your ideal investor look like, would you say?
Yeah, our ideal investor is preferably an angel. That's definitely the case. Somebody who either has experience in fashion mostly, and also the e-commerce side of fashion. That's the most important part for us. And we also said that we are young, and somebody that really is able to think on a strategic level and has the experience of leading a 5 to 10 million euro revenue fashion company, as somebody who can help us with that as well.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Okay, going on, Jeroen. Jeroen, you're on mute. Jeroen, I'm so sorry. You have to repeat your question. You're on mute still.
I unmuted myself. So I thought it was a great pitch. Question about pricing. How much will it cost, and how will that compare to comparable products?
Yeah. So like I said, we're selling 3 styles. One for men's, which is a 2-pack boxer short that sells for €34.95. Our second product is a 3-pack of women's thongs, which we sell for €34.95 as well. And a 3-pack of bikini underwear for women, which sells at €39.95. And these prices are all including 21% tax, but excluding shipping.
Okay, so it's basically affordable pricing, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah. If you compare this to a Hema or a Zeeman, it's different. But I mean, we're also a very different company. But if you compare it to an Organic Basics or a Bamigo, it's exactly the same price.
Yeah, exactly. And what about margins? Can you tell us something about that?
I'd love to. Our margins are very dependent on our order quantities, of course. But when we order at 20,000 pieces, we're expecting a 65 to 70% margin on our products. That's excluding marketing costs.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty nice. So one thing that sounds pretty good actually. One thing I would like to see in your company is if you can move beyond the products you're talking about right now. If you really want to build a big company, you might want to create a brand now and go much bigger than what you said in your pitch, I guess.
That's exactly what we want. We want to use this first year as validation with these 3 styles of products. But we really want to be known as the company that turns consumer power into positive change. And we're also, we have a bunch of products lined up that are ready for launch from 21 and 22 onwards.
Okay, great.
And we really want to become the Dopper and the Tonys of fashion.
Nice. All right.
Good. Okay, thank you for the question, Jeroen. Continuing on. Arjen, how about you?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. A very inspiring idea. You said you're with 11 people. That's quite a large team, I think, in this phase. And you're raising 150K. So how long will that take you? What's the runway?
So we're a founding team of 3, as you saw in the picture as well. And we started around January. And during this time, we were telling a lot of people about Moja. And we were so incredibly lucky to have a bunch of people from Tanzania, from universities, who said, I don't know exactly what you guys are doing yet, but I want to be involved. And that has led to us having a team of 11. In essence, we have a team of around 3 to 4 full-time employees. And besides that, we also have the foundation. So our company sells the underwear, and a part of that sale goes towards the Moja Foundation. And we also have a team regarding the Moja Foundation who handles everything that's impact related.
Great, clear. And I understand from fashion that it's very difficult to be sure that it's sustainably produced. How can you make that sure that will happen?
We're working with our partner factory in Portugal right now, which I think is already, we visited the factory in March. So we're very aware of how they make the products. And we're also 100% sure that the cotton we are using right now, that we know where it's coming from. So in this case, it's coming from Turkey. But we really for our next step want to go into GOTS cotton. And that's the most organic and traceable cotton that there is.
And you have grip on the whole value chain. That's doable.
From the plant, the cotton plant, all the way to production. Because the factory we work with in Portugal, Summerfield, they do nothing else than buy cotton, and they have the entire chain until it goes to underwear. And because they're in Portugal, they also are in line with all EU standards regarding production. And yeah, it will be cheaper to manufacture in China or similar countries, but then the transparency is a lot harder. So that's also why we chose for Portugal.
Yeah. Maybe if I may, a last question from my side. Could you tell me something about scaling up the company, and especially specifically in Tanzania, where you have to have the underwear made? Can you explain a bit more about it?
So scaling a fashion company is very important. The biggest scale you can get is in your order quantities, which when they increase, the price per piece also declines. Regarding the impact side, we're only focusing on Tanzania now, but in the future, we have a lot of different locations and projects lined up. Also, not only in Africa, we also want to look into Nepal and Sri Lanka and set up impact projects there as well.
Okay, thanks.
And we have the Moja Foundation that also receives external donations, not from us as a company, but from other funds as well. And that also leads to us having a foundation team in Tanzania.
Good. All right, thank you. To the last but not the least, Lion, Jorinde, I guess you have questions as well.
Yes, thank you. It was a very nice presentation. So can you tell me a bit more about if you receive the money? What are some things you would like to prove before you continue?
Yeah. Since we're 100% e-commerce, we want to get our numbers right. We want our cost per acquisition, our average customer order values, our return rates. These are all this is the data that we're looking to really generate in August when we launch at first. Once we have that data, that's when we're really, we know if it's going to be profitable to invest a lot more in marketing, for example. So first validation, that's what we're doing ourselves, and then the 150,000 to scale what we validated.
So do you have any sales right now?
We've had a proof of impact.
Yeah.
We also reached a lot of media outlets through that. So we were able to already donate and make 1,800 pieces of underwear in Tanzania. And that also led to 600 hours of labor being created. And now we're turning that project into a real business starting in August.
Good, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, just in time. Well done. So those were the first questions of our jury of lions. Thank you so much. Because this is an online event, we'll also do a question from the audience. So Tom, to you. A question from the audience is, will there be a high enough margin considering you'll be donating for each set that's sold?
Yeah. Well, like I said in the beginning, we want to use consumer power to catalyze change. And the most amazing thing about the one-for-one model is that a lot of people have this perception that it's not financially viable. But given the fact that we're also giving away another product, our perceived value increases a lot. So people are willing to pay a lot more for our product. So this difference in what they're willing to pay for donating something is actually bigger than what it costs us to donate it. So in my opinion, we're actually able to make more financial returns than a regular underwear company.
All right, good, thank you. So I guess this is it.
Okay.
We've done our Q&A. We'll go over to the final verdict. So in the order that you've answered the questions, let's go and do this. So Federico, how about you? Yes or no? Tom pitched for 150K. He mentioned in his presentation. I heard.
Can I add something here?
Yes, this is the moment to add something.
Thanks. I would like to open up or have more talks with you about Moja. It's not about the 150K yet. I completely get that, but I'd love to have more talks.
Awesome. Yeah. So for us, unfortunately, it's a no, just because it doesn't fit our criteria, or at least from what we tend to focus on.
Yeah.
But we do have also contacts with investors that also focus on some verticals, more also on the B2C/D2C market. So happy to discuss things further for sure.
I'd love that. Thank you very much. And I understand that it might not fit your
perfect
investment vision. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Dennis.
It's a yes for me. I find it an interesting concept, and I like the impact side of it. Happy to look for more impact-related startups for our network. So happy to have a chat.
Awesome. Thanks.
Congratulations. Very nice. Jeroen, how about you?
So for me, it's a bit outside of my normal investment focus, which is more B2B and more software type. So it would be a no, but I'm really impressed by your pitch, by your passion. I think you need someone who's an angel in fashion, and I think it'll be big. I think it will work out. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a network of fashion investors?
Doesn't really come to mind right now, but I'm happy to look for you. Absolutely.
That would be amazing as well. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, so up till now, really great.
Yeah.
Arjen, how about you?
Yeah, but I have to say no, because we're focusing on high-tech hardware. But although very inspiring, very nice what you're doing. Only thing I can come up with, I could hook you up with a friend of mine who is the founder of Closing the Loop, and he did a lot of stuff in Africa.
Yeah.
So he knows the ropes over there. So if you're interested, I could bring you in contact.
I would love that. Yeah.
Well,
luck.
the network is growing.
Yeah.
Growing. Wow, everyone's positive. Anything to add to that, Arjen? I believe I cut you off.
I could connect you to this friend of mine if you like to. Yeah.
I thought there was something also coming there. Okay, Jorinde.
Yeah, for me also it's no for matching the network, but I think you did really, really well. So I'll take a look if I can find some people that might help you out further. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Wow, so that's been it. Tom, thank you so much. I think you can be happy about this.
Yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to to continuing these talks and help with your network as well.
Good to know. So this has been our first pitch. We have 3 more. The second one is going to be Zynga Honey Cider. Fabian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still there. Yeah.
Perfect. Are you ready to step into the cage?
Yeah.
No, you can share your screen. You can take over.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fabian, and I'm the co-founder of Zynga. At Zynga, we have a simple mission: bring honey to the people and flowers to the bees. For us, Honey for the People is all about creating exciting honey drinks. Last year, we launched our first drink, Zynga Sparkling Honey, a refreshing honey cider with 4% alcohol. We are currently working on our second drink, Zynga 0.0, a craft soda with 0% alcohol made through a non-alcoholic fermentation. At Zynga, we stand for more than creating exciting drinks. People like you and me all over the globe are increasingly concerned about the well-being of our planet. Especially our target audience, young urban creatives, are looking for ways to have a more positive impact. Doing so, conscious food and drink choices are often an option they are looking for. At Zynga, we want to provide young urban creatives the conscious drink choice they're looking for. That's why our mission doesn't end with honey for the people, but with flowers for the bees. For us, Flowers for the Bees is all about offering people a conscious drink choice which connects them to nature and helps bees and biodiversity thrive. That's why we are using organic honey for the production of our drink. We are supporting local bee projects, and we are offering people the tools and knowledge to help bees thrive locally. Doing so, we aim to become the world's first conscious drink choice. Over the years, we were able to win different awards. In 2018, we won the National Student Entrepreneur Award of the Netherlands. And during the global finals in Macau in China, we won the Lessons from the Edge Award. Next to that, we won also the award for the most social impact in the market during the Agri-Food Summit in Malaga. We launched our honey cider last year here in the Netherlands, and over the year, we were able to sell 25,000 bottles. However, with Corona, HoReCa closed down and we had to pivot our business model. So since this year, we are working on a city-by-city model where we first generate sales in our online shop, then enter in local point of sales. And after that, with the reopening of HoReCa, we improve sales in HoReCa. Doing this, all our marketing efforts are focused on young urban creatives. We launched this new model in April in Wageningen, and this week we started introducing Zynga in Utrecht. The first results are very promising, and for June we target 10,000 euros in revenue, and by the end of this year we target 100,000 euros in revenue. The city-by-city approach consists in 3 phases. Phase 1 is all about creating awareness and getting people to our website. And that we do via social media advertising, working with influencers, flyering, and local PR. The second phase is about getting reorders, continuous customers, and referrals. And in phase 3, it's all about staying top of mind the whole year in our target audience, young urban creatives. Today, I'm pitching in front of you because we are looking for a convertible loan of 90,000 euros. And this will be crucial for the success of our new business model, because we need the investment to launch our non-alcoholic craft soda this summer. The team behind Zynga consists in my co-founder Elias, who focuses on marketing and finance. I myself focusing on sales and product development, and recently Dan Sistermans joined our team, and he brings actually in huge experience as a previous CEO of Red Bull Netherlands and serial entrepreneur. At Zynga, we have the vision of becoming the first conscious drink choice in the globe. And today I'm looking for a person who cares about biodiversity and who dares to dream big. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Fabian. Thank you so much. I'm just gonna quickly take over the screen here so we can get into the Q&A of Reliance. So, Jeroen, do you have questions for Fabian from Zynga?
Yeah, it looks very nice. It actually reminds the branding reminds me a little bit of a company I've invested in. It's called House. I don't know if you've heard about it, but they're doing very well. I'm just wondering, how does it taste? What do people say when they drink it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot let you taste right now, but yeah, we get really positive feedback. So it's really a refreshing light drink.
Yeah.
But twist with like it's kind of a cider, a refreshing cider with a honey twist.
Okay, and can you measure how many people drink it again after their first time tasting it?
Yeah, I have, for instance, I think our best customer orders, since we launched the online shop, he ordered every 2 weeks a crate. So every 2 weeks, 24 bottles.
And have you thought about making the subscription model for this?
Not yet, no. Maybe that's
that may be something interesting to think about. I've seen a lot of new liquor brands go that route, and it brings predictable income and works really well for them.
Thank you.
What's the price?
We sell it at, if you know Mark, the retailer in Amsterdam, there we sell it for $2.39.
$2.39.
Yeah.
But that's a glass, right?
It's a bottle of $2.75. It's in the shop. We sell it for $2.39. In Horeca, it's around 4.50 to 6 euros.
Okay. And
So
do you have some
compared to
interesting margins on that?
We sell it to wholesaler for $1.33.
Okay.
And our production price is currently 90 cents, but we are still now producing batches of 30,000 bottles, which is quite low.
Quite small. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Jeroen. We have to switch over to the other jury members. Dennis, how about you?
Yeah, interesting presentation, interesting concept as well. I was wondering, what are your plans for scaling up? Because you're at a certain level of production right now, right? And I can imagine, if you go city by city, you want to scale it. Can you walk me through that plan?
Yeah, so scaling up for us is quite easy production-wise, because we work with an international company for production here in the Netherlands. So we can easily scale up from productions to 1 million, 10 million bottles. And the scaling model is, we want to focus like on city per city and fine tune in each city our marketing approach. And so in July, we're going to approach Amsterdam and Den Haag. And then by the end of the year and beginning of next year, we're going to test cities outside the Netherlands. Like we are probably testing in Cologne and maybe a city in Belgium. And then basically we would expand, switching to different cities. I hope.
Interesting. So you've outsourced production and also logistics, and then you just do the marketing through your, and it's strictly B2C then, right?
Yeah, plus online shop.
Online shop.
No, B2B via Horeca and retail and our online shop. But the online shop was now more, we changed this business model because of Horeca closing down. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, continuing on. Jorinde, do you have a question for Fabian?
Yes, thank you. I had a few questions. Before Corona, how was how much was B2B and how much was B2C? How much did you?
Yeah, so in 2019, we sold 25,000 bottles.
Yeah.
And they're our main, like, we had once a Lidl week and we are in the retailer mark. But our main focus was generating sales in HoReCa. But this year in HoReCa, we actually didn't generate almost any sales because, yeah. It's like we have a drink, like that's also a thing. At the moment, our drink is getting drunk mostly in spring, summertime.
Okay. And I also wondered, you mentioned being the first conscious drink. Can you tell me a bit what sets you apart compared to competitors in the sustainability, but also in the health department? Because honey doesn't necessarily sound too healthy, or maybe it is.
So no, we are not claiming that we have really a much more healthy drink, but it's more about, with a conscious drink, it's all about connecting people with nature. And with every bottle we basically support local bee projects. Next to that, at the moment we're using organic honey, and for next year we want to be fully organic certified. And more than that, like the whole flowers to the bees concept comes also with all our promotion materials we give out. For instance, when we deliver 6 packs, we hand people out a small package of seeds they can put in their garden to grow flowers for the bees. We launched last week a balcony pot to make your balcony more bee friendly. So basically you can grow herbs on your balcony, which where basically they're growing herbs which are good for the bees and which you can use in your kitchen. And so we are evolving from not only having a drink we sell, but selling a whole concept of giving flowers to the bees.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on to Arjen.
Yeah, thanks for your pitch. Sounds great. I would love to try it. So how do you look at the future? So do you want to, what's your ideal exit partner? Do you want to sell this to Red Bull or to Coca-Cola, or do you want to do this for 20 years? What's your take on that?
I actually liked a lot the part, like for instance, Innocent drinks is there quite an aspiration for me. Like they teamed up with an international player, while still also being in the seat of growing the business. But one part with teaming up with an international player, it would be great if we team up with a player who has also purpose as part of the values.
Yeah.
So not slowly or only looking for profits, but really also about the sustainability part. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit elaborating on the question of Jorinde, who your competition is and what your unique selling point is compared to them.
Yeah, so I think in the next 1, 2, 3 years, our biggest competitor will be the brands like Corona, Desperados, because we are refreshing craft beers. And the point of difference is Desperados, Corona, ciders, and light craft beers. And the difference is first the taste and the impact we have. So it's really a unique taste. But next to that, it's all about the impact we are looking for in supporting bees, nature. It's what differentiates us from the competition.
Are there other honey ciders? I wouldn't know of them, but
no.
So you're the first honey cider.
Yeah, it's like when I look at competition, it's more the moment of drinking.
Yeah,
like you would drink Zinger on a warm sunny terrace, on a barbecue with your friends, and in that moment we are competing. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just a follow-up question, if possible.
Yeah, sure. Once, if it's brief, Dennis.
All right, cool. So when you mentioned all those other ciders, all those drinks, right? I thought of Jill's, which has been heavily marketed a couple of years ago, but I don't think really took off. So what have you learned from that, and how do you think that your cider will, really get into the hearts and minds of customers?
Yeah, I think there are two things. Like I think also like taste-wise, not going against cheese, but we are selling a much more premium product. And second of all, like the cider market in the Netherlands is not so small. So there are 10 million bottles sold a year. And we are not just focusing on competing against cider, but Desperados, Corona, and drinks like that. And I think that there is still a huge market. Or there is a huge market.
Okay, thank you. Federico, I'm sorry. I'll
No
give you special
problem,
time
no
if
problem.
necessary.
No problem. I only have one question because all the other questions that I had were asked already. Given that you have to pivot more focused on the D2C side, so with the online sales, how confident are you guys in kind of pursuing that route long term? Will you do that?
Online sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it worked. Like we launched the online shop in April, and we were quite surprised how well it worked. Although, yeah, we are now really looking also for experts which help us in improving the whole experience of buying online from us, because till now it's also rather a bit a roller coaster. So yeah, we never worked with it, and we are now learning by doing. Yeah. But
I think it would be a good opportunity also, given the trends in like spiked seltzer in America and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, monitor that, I think.
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Federico. So, Fabian, we'll go over to two quick questions from the audience before we'll go into the verdicts of the jury. So, how is the price of your Zinga bottle compared to other luxury alcohol drinks?
Yeah, if you compare it to craft beers like Lowlander IPA or I think we are quite comparable. So you will pay for them around $5.50 in a restaurant, and for us it's the same. And also, if you look at premium ciders or craft beers in the retail, it's also a similar price range. So it's mostly from 180 to 250, and we are on 239. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And do you have plans aside from the Zinga 0.0 to expand your product range? What other beverages have you considered?
Yeah, we are now working on a more premium local drink. So we want, for instance, now we would like to work on a honey cider made using local apples and local honey. So basically a cider, a champagne for Utrecht, made from Utrecht apples and Utrecht honey.
Okay, so you focus on local.
Yeah, as a product extension. Yeah.
I see. Okay, thank you, Fabian. So, heading into the verdict of the Lion. So, Jeroen, what do you think?
Also a very nice presentation. I like the branding, but I would have to taste it to give a final verdict.
Can we do a quick FedEx, Fabian?
If you want, I'm happy to ship you some bottles.
Should be good. All right. It's also a bit out of my investment focus, but I'd like to connect you with the founders of a drink called House, which is doing really well in the United States, and their marketing is just great, and it will really help you to be in touch with them, I guess.
Please,
yeah, I'll do that.
Happy. Yeah, thank you very much. Great.
All right, good. Dennis.
It's a yes for me. I find it interesting yet because you've already have some proven track record and you've got a plan how to go about this lockdown situation. The scalability might be a slight issue if you're looking for angel investors, but I think you've kind of talked about that already. And the last thing that I didn't touch upon is the soft loan that you mentioned. So having a clear plan on, hopefully it doesn't have a hard bullet, but how do you plan to alleviate that? But I'd like to sit down with you and see if I can introduce you to our network.
Thank you very much. Great.
All right, thank you. Federico, how about you?
For the same reason as before, unfortunately, it's a no, just from a Harketeer perspective. But I would like to discuss once, if you guys double down on the online sales side with our VC and investor network, there may be a fit there.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right. Jorinde?
Yeah, for me, it's a no. I don't think it fits the network very well. I do like your presentation, however. I think your distribution methods are very well thought of. So good luck, I would say.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jorinde. And excuse me, Arjen, excuse me. Yeah.
It would have to be a no, because it's outside of our hardware investment scope. But well done on the marketing. It looks good, and it's very cool that there's a new cider made of honey, which nobody ever did, and great traction you already had and have before Corona and currently. So very cool. My compliments.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Fabian. I can say from that the audience is sold already on YouTube. A lot of people are heading over to your web shop as we speak to order some Zynga. So thank you so much.
Great.
And good luck. All right, so we're halfway there. Hope you enjoy it. We're online with about 45 people when I just checked. So guys, thank you sending in the nice questions. It's really great. Continuing on. Lokale markten. Is Dolf or Tom going to pitch?
I will pitch.
Dolf, take over the
Yes.
screen.
Yes. Okay. All right, I'm ready. Can I start?
Yes.
Okay. Well, imagine being a market entrepreneur and getting up at 3 a.m. every day of the week to get your fresh and nice products. Well, this is a hard business, and sometimes it doesn't even pay off. So imagine that due to the corona measures, the markets have shut down. This is a large problem for entrepreneurs and customers. First of all, it meant no revenue for market entrepreneurs. And secondly, we as consumers have no access to market goods. 97% circumstantially of past sales are made offline. And market entrepreneurs need help to fix their sales. But they lack the digital skills. Of course, we have seen that some market entrepreneurs have found a substitute by opening their own personal web shops. However, when you go to the market, you want to buy some high quality vegetables next to your fish. And simply one web shop per product is not what you desire. So capturing the diversity of the market is key. So that's why we offer the solution, Lokale markten. Lokale markten is your one-stop local market shop, which offers fresh, cheap, and diverse products, and creates the opportunity to support local entrepreneurs. So it's your one online location, which replaces the market, and you get your market products delivered at your doorstep. Secondly, it offers the diversity of the market, and the low-end segment can now be bought online. And from our survey, which we held under more than 1,300 email subscribers, we found out that this is the opportunity to support local. People want that, and Lokale markten offers them that solution. So before we dive into the details, I will quickly show you the market size. The local markets are 2.2 billion euros, and 97% is made offline. And secondly, 30% of turnover is currently growing in 2018 for online supermarkets. So this market definitely offers potential. So what is the team? Lokale markten is founded 1.5 months ago by Jacek Zakdoor, Tom van Doorn, and myself, Dolf Verhul. And what's drives us so far? Well, first of all, we have a technical and business background, as we're students from both the TU Delft and Erasmus University. We have a broad range of experience due to work in governmental agencies, large corporates, and startups. And lastly, societal dilemmas drive us. And that's why we're also truly passionate about Lokale markten. So I understand now that you're curious how the product looks like, and that's what I will show you right now. When you go to the website, you can buy products like bananas or onions, but maybe even better, you can also support your local entrepreneurs by going to their store. Entrepreneurs can truly show you their identity. And lastly, Lokale markten offers almost 24/7 support for both entrepreneurs and customers. So what is our business model? Well, in a pilot, we work with a monthly fee, but currently we're going to a model which takes 10% commission per product sale and a monthly fixed fee. So for 250 orders per month, An average order value of 45 euros. This means 1,500 euro in net turnover per market. So what is the traction so far? We launched on the 3rd of May, and with 16 entrepreneurs in the pilot and more than 10 entrepreneurs on the waiting list, we have 10,000 euros in sales for the entrepreneurs. And customers knew where to find us because we have 1,300 newsletter subscribers and we featured in newspapers and on radio shows. Of course, competition is present in our industry, but our competitive advantages are that we offer cheap and diverse products. So we're both cost effective and we capture the diversity. And secondly, we work together with market entrepreneurs so they can work with their expertise and they can truly show you their work and their passion. So what is our roadmap? Well, we envision a future of all cities with Lokale Markten. And to do that successfully, we need to expand in The Hague and start in Rotterdam to test scalability and stocking. And lastly, later in the year, we want to launch a new platform and continue optimizing. So to do that successfully, we need 50,000 euros to achieve the following milestones, prioritized in order. First of all, we need to verify our main assumptions, which are related to distribution and logistics. And we need to see what our true customers are and how to target them correctly. Secondly, we need to verify our business model. And to do this, we need to expand to other cities. And lastly, we need to develop a Lokale Markten vendor app. And this will help us to truly work together with entrepreneurs and help them really develop their business. Lastly, I really hope that you all want to participate in our product, just as our previous reviews from our customers. And thank you, and I hope to hear your reviews.
All right, thank you, Dolf. Dolf from Lokale Markten, just in time, very well managed. We're just gonna head straight into the Q&A. So, Arjen, do you want to kick it off with the questions?
Yeah, sure. Great. Thanks for your presentation. Sounds interesting. So how are you going to convince the market entrepreneurs? As you said, they're not always the most digitized people. So how are you going to convince them of something hips like an app?
Hey, Arjen, great question. I'm going to take over from Dolf here for the questions. So firstly, we already started with our pilot. We have over 16 entrepreneurs already attached to our platform, and there's over 10 plus on the waiting list right now. So really, they're doing all the convincing for us at this point. They've seen our progress, and they all want to join. So yeah, there's not much to do from that aspect. It's a problem that's been solved for us, luckily.
Cool. And about the margins, who will pay your extra margin? Probably the customer. And do you have insight in the margins of the market entrepreneurs?
Yeah, we do. We're almost co-creating at this point, so we're in very close contact with our entrepreneurs. We find that very important because it's not something we want to win for ourselves. We want to win for the market and for our business. We want to create a win-win. So right now we're already in talks with them about our commission model that we will introduce in the coming months after the Corona has passed and after we've successfully helped them survive the Corona crisis. And they've agreed upon. We're aiming to place ourselves in between markets and supermarkets, which gives us quite a lot of playing room, as markets right now are quite far below, especially for seasonal products, are quite far below supermarkets. And for products like cheese and other special products, we aim to place we aim to place between markets and special stores, which we are also able to do with quite some margin. And as I said, we've already agreed on a commission model for them, and as well as a subscription model with a monthly fee. So we have both bases covered in that respect.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. So, Jorinde, do you have questions for the Lokale Markten team?
Yes. So in your competition slide, you mentioned you were competing with other online market platforms, but I wasn't completely convinced you're not also competing with supermarkets. So would you say your typical customer right now would be going to a picnic, for example, a supermarket, or would they be going to the actual market?
Yeah, so I think there's a difference in customers. So from our market research that we've done with our existing customers, we found that most of them are market customers that either find it too difficult to get to the market or simply can't go right now. We have a fair share of both at this point. And also the products from the markets differ from products from supermarkets. The quality is usually a little bit different. The prices are therefore a lot lower. And specialized products such as cheese and others like nuts and products like those are simply a higher quality than the supermarket offers. So it's a different product portfolio than supermarkets offer. So it's a different kind of customer as well.
Yeah. So what would you say your unique selling point right now is for those customers?
Right now, compared to other market platforms, because those are our main competitors, we are the only ones offering all products. All other offerings offer boxes or combinations of products, which we do not do, because we feel like the market should have a very diverse product portfolio, and we're only able to offer that if we offer every product individually and not in a set box like our competitors do. So we're different in that respect.
Yeah. Okay. So can I ask one more question, or
is it a brief one?
Yeah. So
okay.
if you're going to scale, would you allow people to tap on the platform itself, or does it take a lot of screening before you let entrepreneurs on?
So right now it doesn't take a lot of screening at all. However, we are considering checking the kinds of products they sell to see if it's a fit for our platform, because obviously there's some costs involved in getting entrepreneurs onboarded onto the platform. So I think that's part of our piloting phase, or our business model confirmation phase that we're in now, that we're finding out which product suites work and which don't. But besides that, there isn't much we have to do in terms of screening, except from the regular stuff and making sure that they deliver the quality that they promise, etc., stuff like that. Basic background checks.
Good, thank you. So let's continue on. Federico, do you have questions?
Yes. I have a few. So I'm just trying to cherry pick. So maybe I missed, but who delivers the products? How does that work?
So right now we're working with some delivery partners. We have multiple drivers that help us out, and that's been working great. However, we aim to take that, or we might take that into our own hands in the future, depending on margins and if it's.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. And so you mentioned the business model. So you have on one side the subscription business fees, and on the other side like a take rate. Just judging from other platforms, mainly the delivery, like food delivery platforms, they started off with either one or the other, and then had to switch in the end to take rates, given how restaurants reacted. How do you expect that to change? Because paying once a monthly fee as well as a take rates, maybe especially like market entrepreneurs won't like that too much. How do you think that will change as you scale?
Yeah, good question. I think there's two different answers to the question anyway. So you have to also understand that our fees are based on what the market entrepreneurs have told us.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, we actually think we're currently priced too low because they're accepting it readily. How it's going to change is a question of two parts. Firstly, we have the part of right now, which the fee I think will remain the same, and as we scale, it might grow or adjust depending on what we need. But what we will do is we'll have a free trial period so that market entrepreneurs can see if the platform is working for them and if the monthly fee is something they're able to cover. And during the trial period, we only charge our commission, so they can actually see if it works for them. And in that way, we do have scale, as well as we're able to continue the business model the way we presented it thus far.
All right, thank you.
Awesome, thanks.
So continuing on with Jeroen. Jeroen, do you have questions for the Lokale Markten team?
Yes, it's quite interesting actually. Federico asked this already about the 10% take rate. I wondered if that was something they would accept, but you already answered that question. I'm just thinking about when I go to a market, I try to negotiate about prices, and sometimes you get four pieces when you pay only 3. How will the pricing work in Lokale Markten? How will they set the prices? And I'm just wondering how it will compare to a normal market, like a physical one.
Yeah, good question. It's not the same thing, but we are offering price discounts because this is one of the things the entrepreneurs told us from day one. So you're making a very good point. So what we've done is obviously have pricing discounts for higher volumes, for example, and the entrepreneurs are able to change that, and with the vendor app, hopefully even on a more frequent basis. So in that way, they're able to really take the prices as they want, and that will also kind of give this feeling back of being able to buy more volumes. But haggling is not possible. But I think that's fading.
Yeah, that's so. And then one other question. Sometimes at the market, the quality is usually okay, but sometimes they really trick you. You buy some strawberries, and at the top it looks nice, but in the bottom it's terrible. But they're all rotten, basically. How will you guard against things like that? How will you keep quality in control?
Yeah, so one thing we're adding to the platform shortly is a review system for the vendors, and that will make sure that they don't only compete on price but also on quality. But already right now we're seeing that the market vendors are giving us much higher quality products than there is on the market, because they realize that their customers will come back to them if they do so, and it's very easily traceable because they know exactly who they ordered from.
Nice. Okay, clear. Good answers.
Okay, thank
I like
you. For some closing questions, closing remarks, Dennis.
Yeah, thanks. I had similar questions to Federico and Jeroen about margins and quality control, but maybe you can walk me through just the process. So I go on your app, you know, I order some cheese and maybe some, I don't know, some fruits and some vegetables. What happens on your end? Does somebody then just order pick? Can you tell me a little bit about that process?
Yeah, sure. So you have to understand that this is the moment right now, right? You're asking. So in our current phase, and what we're currently doing is, when someone orders, we collect all the orders, send it to our entrepreneurs, and they order pick all the orders. So they order pick per order number. So they, for example, bundle all the vegetables together, all the cheese together, and then we come on our delivery day and take it into one package. So that really makes our delivery time or our picking time a lot shorter. And in that way, once we've bundled all the products, we ship them into our vans, and we deliver them to our customers' doorsteps.
And you want to improve that process, I assume, by having one centralized location to order pick there. Between now and there, does the 10% work margin, the financial margin, does it work?
We think so. So right now we're in the Haagse Markt, which is a special market because it's closed, which means that right now we're already picking on the central location. When we move to other cities, we have to have a slightly different model, which is exactly the kind of model we're aiming to test. I cannot really go into further detail regarding our exact model here because I don't want to give our competition a head start, of course, because it's new, it's completely innovative. But I'm happy to go into further detail, in a private chat. But from what we've seen so far, we think it should be possible, and we're also aiming to test that more throughout the coming months, which will have a more verified answer for you.
All right,
okay,
that
cool.
was the last question from the jury. Thank you so much. We have one nice question. We have a nice question from our internet audience here. So, how could the business sustain when the market can be available again? Do you see that becoming a problem?
Yeah, no, I don't think it will be a problem, because that was actually one of the nicest things when we went out on deliveries the first few weeks. Yeah, everywhere we delivered, we got people saying, "Hey, can you keep doing this? Can you keep on delivering?" Because, like I said, people right now are unable to go to the markets. It's too far for them, and the people from the outside areas of the cities want the cheaper products, and the markets are always in the city center. So it's just an easy way for them to get the products delivered to their house, so they don't have to go all the way to the city center, park their bike, park their car. In some cities, this is impossible, and try and go to the market and spend hours there. Well, with us, you just order your products, press purchase, and we deliver it right to your door without all the hassle. So yeah, I think
all clear. Yeah, thank you. We don't see it as a problem. Good. So again, I guess everyone knows how this works. Arjen, the final verdict. What's yours?
I'm sorry, I have to tell no again because it's outside of our focus. But I'm impressed from what I've heard until now, and the most important thing for us always is the team, and I'm impressed about your Q&A, and I think you're quite on top of it. So good luck.
Compliment, and if you can introduce us to anyone, then please feel free to do so. I'm very interested. Thank you.
Sure.
Good. Jorinde. Jorinde?
Sorry. Yes. For me, unfortunately, it also has to be a no because it's outside of our network. But I'll see if I can think of people I can connect you to. I think you did very well. Well done.
Great. Thank you.
Federico?
Yeah, I would say yes. To consider things to go forward with talks. I have to check with regards to some hard criteria and some stuff that's going on with the fund, but I'm definitely happy to take the conversation further.
Well, thank you very much. I'm excited to go into talks with you, and I'm happy to talk about all the details.
Great potential. Good to know. So, Jeroen, how about you?
Yes, well, you know, I've the biggest doubt I have is can you make this a profitable business? But I'd still like to talk a little bit further. I thought the Q&A and the pitch they gave me, you know, I thought it were good. I thought you were I have a feeling you can execute, which is really important. So let's talk. Why not?
Good. Thank you. Thanks for the
Even more potential here. Thank you so much. Good. Great to hear. Dennis.
Yeah, for me it's also yes. I believe you guys met us already in a different competition, and we said yes then again. So I'm bound to that. But even regardless of that, I like the pitch and I like the idea, and I also like the speed in which you are operating to be already doing pilots and not even, I think, what is it, 90 days old. So that's what I like about the team. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. So 3 yeses. Very well done, Team Lokale Markten. Props to you. So we hope to hear some good things coming out of the discussions you'll have in the future. So good luck with those. For now, we're heading into our last pitch, the last pitch of the evening. So keep the concentration high, keep the mood up, because I'm sure that they'll amaze us with a nice story as well. And then I'm talking about scientometrics, insights in science. Rick, are you ready to do your story or to do your pitch?
Yes, let's see if the share screening works.
It should.
Yes, share. Present. Can you see it properly? Oh,
yeah.
It's too early.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are Scientometrics, and we try to deliver insights in science. My name is Rick, and I'm doing this together with Martijn. So you'll see what's up. So what are we addressing? We are addressing the problem that researchers, academic researchers, most of their career choices are based on rather subjective considerations and limited knowledge, and they are also very influenced by their promoters. For example, finding partners for collaborations, which is really essential for their career success, identifying research gaps, steering research projects in the right direction, finding subsidies, etc., etc. And what problem are we solving for the research management? So at the moment, there's no effective online research information management system. And universities use that to make strategic decisions. And now they do use alternatives, but all of them are quite incomplete. And it's always a big hassle for the research to fill it in. They don't really like it at all. So what do we do? For researchers, we provide a science dashboard consisting of state-of-the-art scientometric insights and visuals and tools that are personalized to the profile of the researcher. And we do that because the researcher then personally benefits from entering data into the system. In other words, they're more motivated to work with the system. And on the other side, the research management, of course, which is also the client, most likely, will have a complete data set, which has even better data than the current systems. And why now? So there are a lot of large databases being opened up because of the open science movement. Maybe people noticed it, but Elsevier recently closed a deal with VSNU to open up, to make everything open, almost everything open access from now on. And also the scientific field of bibliometrics and knowledge production has now made it possible to quantify, to objectively quantify these new science metrics. From the scientometrics field. From 2021, the Dutch universities need to implement a new strategy evaluation protocol. The Netherlands is a front runner in that area together with the UK. And new metrics will be important in this new evaluation protocol. So in short, new metrics can and soon need to be measured. So how does it work? The researcher enters the profile, so they enter data, KPIs, whatever they want to measure. We kind of make a pre-assessment together with the university what is needed. And then based on that, automatic visuals will be generated based on open source data, but also the data that they fill in. So an example would be that researchers can follow their field, see how a network develops, and take broker positions in that field. But this is just one of about 400 possibilities. So that's how many scientometric possibilities there are. So who's the team? It's myself. I did mechanical engineering in Eindhoven with a business engineering track, then sustainable business and innovation in Utrecht. I'm quite entrepreneurial. I did a lot of stuff with partnerships and in the entrepreneurship world. For example, worked at TechLeap for a while. And I do this together with Martijn. Martijn did a master in innovation science at university. That's why we know each other. So we know each other for 3 or 4 years now. We tried to set up previous companies together as well. And he's now doing a PhD on research, responsible research and innovation, which is almost exactly this topic. So he is quite of a scientometric specialist. He knows a lot about network analysis. And of course, he has an own academic career, so he knows what's important. And he also provides us the network of Delft. And I, of course, the network in Utrecht. So we already finalized the Utrecht Inc. validation program. They're really eager for us to proceed. And of course, we are as well. From June on, so we had a little hurdle because our technical programmer left us last week. Exactly at the moment when we started programming. It's because of Corona, he was looking for a more stable career. So that's our #1 priority at the moment. We're in the next 2 months, we will try to build an MVP together with UMCU, who is also a front runner internationally on implementing these new measures. We already want to start collaborating with national stakeholders. And then, of course, once the new strategy evaluation protocol is publicized, we will directly implement these measures into our system. We will then start to experiment with the MVP, start conversations with paying customers, discover also the differences between different faculties, and then we will start looking more seriously into attracting investments. By November, or between November and January, you hope to have an established user base of researchers of about 75 early career PhDers. And we hope in the start of the new year, we are able to sign our first customer, which is probably a university. We based it on about 40 plus interviews. The business model is not 100% definite yet. We're still validating and pivoting a bit. Initially, we aim to sell the data to the universities. And to give an indication about the market, Mendeley was acquired by Elsevier for about 80 million euros a couple of years ago. There are more examples like this, but we also choose to compete with them. So we need the investments for, of course, living costs, but most of all, we're looking for an active partner to collaborate with and who has knowledge in the industry and about costs for marketing, sales, etc. And that was our pitch.
Just in time, Rick. You just had a few seconds left over there. So yeah, thank you so much for your pitch. I'm guessing that the 3 members have a lot of questions for you, starting off with Arjan.
Yeah, thanks. I'm still trying to understand what the problem is you solve for me as PhD. So why would I spend money on it? And where's the value? Because you're trying to sell the data to universities, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a double model. On the one side, the value that we deliver to PhDers and young researchers is basically extra tools, better tools, so that their career is enhanced. And to give you an impression, the PhD I work with, he's about to publish his 4th publication, and he's only 5 months in. So all his co-PhDs at the TU Delft are looking at him like, how the hell are you doing this? So that are the tools. He is using all these tools because he's specialized in this. He developed these tools, or at least these tools are quite new, really new to be honest. And he is using them already, and he has proven that they work. And now we want to use them as a motivation for the researchers to get us their data, because we don't want the researchers to pay us, because then the field gets more and more competitive. But we want the universities to pay us. Because they have the budgets, and they are also helped with extra data plus better PhDers and researchers.
Yeah. Okay. Is this scalable? Is that difficult because you have a lot of scientific fields and a lot of people with their own data? Mm-hmm. Can you tell a bit something about that?
Yeah, so we're starting to experiment with it, UMC, but the metrics that are measured in every field are about the same, because the VSNU, the overarching organization for universities, they set these new metrics. So they tell us we need to measure on this, this, and this. And they also provide us with some measures. There are a lot of lists with different measures already in there, but we want to make a universal list for every university, and we think it's possible. We already checked it with a couple of faculties, and we think it's possible. And based on that, we will start measure. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, sure. Last short question. What's the market size?
That's a really good question. To give you an impression, we don't know exactly, but to give you an impression, Elsevier is worth 5 billion, and ResearchGate, which is kind of the area we're into, is just received investment of 50 million.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. Continuing on with Federico, what's your view?
Yeah, so
Questions?
I had a question about the business model, but then you cleared it up in the last slide, even though you're still trying to figure it out. How can you guys expand beyond well, the Netherlands first, and then beyond academia, if there's application beyond that?
The question is whether we want to, because in academia there's a lot of money already in there. Preferably, at some point you might want to move to business, to making businesses your customer, or media companies or whatever. But we're not sure about that yet. For now, we think we can scale really big with universities only, and then later on, for ethical reasons, we might want to proceed to businesses, but we don't. Yeah, that's way too early.
Okay, yeah, that was my only question that I had.
All right. Continuing on with Jorinde.
Yes. So, are there any people doing somewhere similar things right now? How's your competition?
Yes, there was a company who did something quite similar in Denmark, and they have been bought by Elsevier as well. But they're not doing it as well as we do, because the issue with that program is that there are still a lot of knowledge gaps left for the university. So not all the gaps of knowledge that the university needs to make proper decisions are filled in, and they're failing for a couple of years already to do that. And also researchers think it's a really big hassle to always fill in that system of theirs. So we think we can do that way better by also providing value to the researcher, because then it gets fun to fill the data in and to deliver the data instead of being a hurdle and annoyance.
Okay, so what in 1 year, where do you want to be? What do you want to have proven?
Yeah, because we're in the scientific field, reliability is really important. The new protocols will be implemented in the Netherlands from 2021. So somewhere that year, people start to get nervous because they need to be able to measure it at the end of 2021. So your question was again?
So where will you be in 1 year? Where do you plan to be?
Yeah, we hope to have an MVP ready by the end of this year. And then we hope to have the first client, and which is a complete university signed by the next summer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So Jeroen, do you have questions for Rick from Scientometrics?
Yes, I'm just wondering two things. One is how much funding are you looking for? That's one. And the second one is how much revenue do you expect in 3 years from now?
Really good question. We are a bit early stage, at least we think, compared to the other three. And especially because looking at a programmer is now the main priority, a co-founder. So the amount of money we need is uncertain yet. It also depends a bit on the circumstances of the third person. We can still live for a while on our own money, but at some point, of course, that will run out, and it will be comfortable to have something to live from. So we don't know yet, but in 3 years, we have been assessing a bit about this market. I hope all universities in the Netherlands are lined up or hooked up, because in 4 years, the final measurement of the protocol has to be measured. So in that case, that means probably 2 tons to 200,000 euros per university, which is 15 in the Netherlands. So that makes 3 million.
3 million.
Yeah. And that's just the Netherlands. Then maybe we already, it depends a bit on when the new protocols will be launched in the other countries, like the UK, like Scandinavian countries. And based on that, we will also start implementing it there.
Okay, clear. One short question. Selling to universities, I would think it's pretty tough, but I get the feeling you can easily sell this, correct?
And as very sharp, we hope so. What we try to do is we try to get researchers and PhDers to use this system anyway because they like our tool so much. Then we have the data, and then because the universities are in trouble because they don't have enough data, they need to speed up their selling process to fill up the missing data, and we have the missing data. So we hope that we can pressure it through a bit. But of course, I do agree, this is one of the biggest exciting things, to put it like that.
All right, clear.
Okay, Dennis, do you have questions?
Yeah, I'd like to hook on to that because you mentioned that I agree with Jeroen that I can assume that selling to universities is a really tough proposition, especially universities are always out of money. So that would have been my main question. But you mentioned that they need data because they need to enact some kind of protocol. I might have missed it, but can you briefly kind of take me through what the main problem of the university is that you're solving?
So the universities need to tell the government, I think, that they're doing well. And for that, they need to prove that with certain data. For example, how many PhDs they have, what topics they are writing about, how many publications they had, how much they valorized, how much education they gave, what topics, a lot of stuff. This is just like a smallest bit. And they need to report on that to a governmental organization, I think the VSNU or a governmental organization. Every year they need that, or every 4 years. And always it's a big hassle to get sufficient data and to make that data proper, to make it suitable. So there's always been a hassle, and we try to solve that.
And how is that decision-making process within the university? Who's going to pull the trigger on that decision, and at what level to use you guys to do this? Because if I understand correctly, this protocol means that if they fail, they can lose their license, right? I think it's kind of that level.
We haven't looked into it that far yet, but of course, that in practice that will hardly ever happen.
Not immediately, but it has severe consequences. So who is the decision maker then that you're looking for?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We're still figuring it out in the universities, but what has been proposed to us is that we will be introduced to the person that's introducing this new protocol, this new strategy evaluation protocol, and that person knows all the decision makers of all the universities. So before we contact that person, we want to have a proper MVP that we can show to that person, and if she is enthusiastic, then that's a nice moment. And if she is not yet, we hope that she's willing to help us. Help us, because it's also in their advantage if they have all the data, because then the university will report better. So she will be happy as well. So we expect that she will be very much willing to help us with perfecting the system.
Okay. Last question on my part. Then I can imagine that university is a very political organization, especially at the level probably that you're looking to get that decision. If I look at your team, I get the sense, this is my assumption, that you might be missing in that aspect. Are you looking, and if so, how are you looking to alleviate that potential issue?
Yeah, also a good question. We also realized that ourselves. We might want to try to find someone who sold a company like ours already in the industry to join our team as a CEO or something in that direction. But of course, we also consider trying it ourselves and then see what happens. And if that doesn't work out on a small scale, then we will find someone to do that. Hopefully, it will be one of those people from those committees that establish this, because they already have the connections, and if they are enthusiastic, they would be the perfect candidate to join.
All right, that was the last question. So we have one question from the audience. If you would take an investment for Scientometrics, which are you going to pay wages? Second question, is the development of the software you're going to develop to do this, is it done internally?
First, of course, we will develop the software internally. Externally is not an option. And the first question was, are you going to pay wages? It's a bit of a balance between can we attract investment and do we want to pay wages? Of course, we want the technical co-founder to have shares, most importantly. And for now, we can still live on our own money and all on part-time jobs. And we try to keep doing that as long as possible to keep, of course, the biggest share to ourselves. But at some point, we just need to, or we have to attract a client. But the chances that we will attract the clients on time are small, so probably we need an investment at some point.
I see. Okay, thank you. So this is the last verdict of the evening. Let's get on with it. Arjen.
Unfortunately, it will be a no. But I'm intrigued. I think it sounds very interesting. It took me a bit to understand it. But I think it would be good to collaborate with an Elsevier, for example, because they are very successful in changing business models, I think. And
yes, they are, but we also try to be a competitor to them. So we are still a little bit like hesitating whether we want to contact them or not.
Yeah, sure. But cool. Good luck.
Thanks.
Thank you. Federico.
Yes, to further talks. I think there's a lot of potential, and we are backed by the University of Amsterdam, which I think will be quite happy to talk to you. And regarding the decision maker, we are connected with the people that you want to connect directly to. So it's going to be quite good, at least to have initial talks.
Cool. Thanks.
Potential. Great to hear. So, Jorinda.
Sorry, for me, it's also yes, I would love to have a talk. I think there's some issues we need to discuss, but it's very interesting. So I'd love to hear more. Yeah.
Cool.
Great. So 2 yeses already for potential talks. Jeroen.
So very interesting product. For me, it's a no because it's a bit too early. I think when you're a little bit further, you've got your co-founder which can develop the product a bit more. I'd like to take a look again, but at the moment it's just too early for my appetite, basically.
Totally legitimate argument. Yeah.
Thank you, Dennis. To close it off.
For me, it's a no. I think I'm a bit in doubt because I like the concept very much, and I think it's very interesting. The reason why I'm hesitating towards a no is that at the moment there's a couple of shaky things going on in the team and also in the MVP. But I think given some time, you'll be able to straighten that out. And if that happens, then feel free to shoot me an email because I like where you guys are going.
Cool. We think so as well.
All right. So that was the last verdict. I guess you can be happy, right, Rick?
Yep.
Good. Great to hear. So that was it. We have had 4 pitches, 4 Q&As, intense questions being fired. But to close it off, I'd like to thank you say thanks to all the startups for participating, for sharing their stories, for daring to ask for an investment. So guys, thank you so much. We wish you a lot of luck in this discussions you're going to have with our jury or with the journey of your company. Of course, we want to thank our jury. Thank you so much for devoting some of your time to give feedback to the startups here. They're very, very happy with your questions, whether you want to talk with them about a potential investment or not. So thank you so much, Jeroen, Federico, Arjen, Jorinda, and Dennis. You can see their pictures here. And to the organizing team. So thank you so much. It was a collaboration between Dutch entrepreneurial student communities from Rotterdam, Wageningen, Delft, and Utrecht. So this is the first time we did this. I guess we can be really happy. At least that's the feeling I have. If you are a student and you have something like, hey, this is really cool. I want to be on a stage somewhere someday. I have an interesting idea. And you're studying in either Rotterdam or wherever our communities are located. Just follow us on Instagram. Get in touch with us because we can provide you a great place to start developing your ideas and also provide you with knowledge and network that could help you developing those ideas. So if you think this is interesting, don't hesitate because those communities are there to help you. And they're also really fun. And to our YouTube attendees, thank you so much. Thank you for participating. Thank you for sending your questions. Hope you had a lot of fun. and that this evening was really inspirational. I would say that it would be goodbye from now. So again, thank you so much and have a nice evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Weet je, if we